Hey everyone, Chris here, and I just want to take a quick second to ask you all to please, if you haven't already, take our user survey, a listener survey that's in the show notes of this episode. It'll help us out in understanding who our audiences are, who's listening, where you guys are from, and also give you guys a chance to give us some feedback on the shows. We've already gotten some great feedback that we're hoping to implement and work on now, but this is your time to kind of communicate with us and give us feedback. So again, it takes 5 to 10 minutes. We don't keep any. It's totally anonymous. We don't keep any of our information. But it'll also help us understand the demographics of our shows, who's listening, help us reach out for sponsors, and hopefully allow us to do more live shows and do bigger and better things for the network. So again, please take the 5 to 10 minutes to fill out the survey. And if you have already, thank you guys very much. So now on to the show.
Welcome back to the Unanimous Decision Podcast. I'm your host, D-Palm. Follow me on Twitter at DPalm66. Follow the show on Twitter at UDPod. Follow the entire MTR Network at the MTR Network. You found us. Don't lose a subscribe on all your pod-enabled devices. That way, when we drop episodes like this, like in the middle of the week or the end of the week, you don't have to say, "Oh, I wonder if I got to upload this feed. I got to check on." No. You subscribe, it gets delivered to you on demand for your commute, for your sitting on your desk, for your other commute, whatever, however we get into your lives, into your ears. Also, leave those 5-star reviews. 5-star reviews, read them on the air. Great way to have your voice heard and your input given. You can also email us at udpod@gmail.com. I think that's all the preamble. Oh, yeah. I want to make sure everyone's taking advantage of this. So, I don't know if you've been listening to the beginning of some of these shows. We have a great deal going with Stitcher Premium right now. Use our code Tuesday. You'll be able to listen to Marvel's 10-episode Wolverine the Long Night podcast, as well as ad-free listening to all other Stitcher shows, bonus episodes from Stitcher shows, and things of that nature. I'm actually signing up literally as we're speaking so I can take advantage of this, so that maybe, just maybe, might do some reviewing of this thing because it's getting good reviews and good reactions. The reason I've gathered us here today at the end of the week, at the end of a very long work week for your boy, is the NBA playoffs start Saturday, and I would be remiss if I didn't take the time to talk about the greatest time of year, the counterpoints of NHL playoffs and NBA playoffs, and being the full ability to ignore baseball and pretend like football isn't being horrible all the time. It's pure enjoyment, it's pure excitement, and it's the days where I'm going to be going to work very tired because I'm going to stay up and watch these West Coast games because they're going to be a lot of fun. And I guess if we're going to talk basketball, we've got to go and talk to the gentleman who talks basketball with me, my homie Mike, best man at my wedding, and one of my best friends in the world. Hello, Michael.
Daniel, how are you doing?
All right, wow, I'm fine. I'm fine. So, yeah, we're here. We're talking the playoffs. And before we talk playoffs, before we even talk about the over-unders where things didn't go exactly according to plan again this year, I want to bring this up.
Speak for yourself, sir.
It's really unfortunate that you're like this. So one of my favorite NBA stories of all time is Jerry Sloan quitting Utah. So for those of you who don't remember, there's a time where Jerry Sloan was pretty much an institution of the Utah Jazz. And for good reason. He was a great coach. He coached them to lots of almost winning seasons, almost championship seasons. And by 2011, I guess kind of the attitudes of the players have changed, or things have changed in the NBA, and Jerry Sloan wasn't as quick to adapt to some of the attitudinal changes. And he had a talented but angry guard in Darren Williams, who someone tried to fight me once in a bar because I said Darren Williams. I said, looks like the Darren Williams-Chris Paul debate's been settled when he got traded, and they got in my face. It was like, you don't know, he's coming to Jersey. I'm like, okay, relax. Like, this is ridiculous. It's Darren Williams and Chris Paul. There's no debate here. And again, I was right. So what happened in Utah was something very bad happened one night. An argument happened back behind the scenes, and Jerry Sloan quit the next day. And no one's ever gotten the full story as to why. You've heard like the sanitized versions. Well, Rajah Bell, he was on a podcast this week, and he's apparently figured that 7 years is the statute of limitations. I'm now reading his words. I'm making none of this up. I can't really speak to D-Will being a problem because that all happened when I was in Phoenix. But what happened that night was Jerry Sloan called a play called 4 Up, which is a specific play to the right-hand side of the court. The exact same play can be run on the left side of the court, and it's called like 4 down. So Jerry calls 4 up, and we go for the jump ball, and Darren changed it to 4 down because I think it was Paul Millsap or Al Jefferson. They like the ball on the other side of the block. So essentially the same play. Same guy's getting the ball, you just flip the sides. So we played the whole first half, and Jerry's seething, and no one knows why. So we come into halftime, we're losing the Bulls. It was Kyle Korver and those guys. Kirk Thomas was with the Bulls at the time. And Jerry says, like, if you're going to change my effing play, at least give me the courtesy and let me know you're going to change it. So he's been holding this in until halftime. So I'm sitting next to Greg Miller. He's like the owner now. He's sitting next to me, and Jerry and Darren are like yelling at each other across the hallway. And so Darren says something to the effect of, yeah, I hear you, bro. Like, you got the power, but I got the juice. Something like crazy. And Darren looks over at Greg Miller, and he's like, I got to talk to you. So they go in the back. They go in, and and you're like, oh, it's about to pop off. So Jerry says, you're not having this meeting without me, and runs back there too. So now it's the 3 of them back behind the locker room just yelling. So they go out after halftime. No one knows what to do in the start of the second half. Darren comes over and is like, yo, man, just told them if this ain't going to work, they should get me out of here. And I was like, look, man, we got to finish this game. Let's just play ball. So the whole second half, it's a long-winded story, but it's a good story. The whole second half, Jerry's looking at me and saying, hey, you tell Darren we need to run the thumb up. And Darren would look over at me and say, you tell Jerry we're going 43, whatever. And so I'm in the middle of this the entire second half. We lose the game. We come in, game's over. They're not yelling anymore, but Jerry, we have a thing in Utah where you bring it in and everybody says 1, 2, 3, Jazz. And we bring it in and Jerry's livid. Jerry Sloan's livid. He goes 1, 2, 3, good luck. And everyone looked around and was like, wait, what, did he just say good luck? The next morning I came in for treatment. Jerry Sloan had already announced his resignation at 8:30 in the morning. I'm there on time. He'd been there since 7:30 and announced his resignation. I didn't see him again until after the rest of the season. 3 weeks later, we're sitting in the training room in Dallas. Darren is next to me getting treatment. ESPN Theater goes across. Darren Williams traded to the Nets. I look at Darren. He looks at me and he's like, yeah, I'll be right back. No one had told him he was getting traded. He found out waiting on treatment.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know if that tickles anyone else listening but me, but the idea that both Jerry and Darren were like, either he goes or I go, and the owner was like, you're both fucking gone. I'm done.
So they both lost this.
Exactly. Like that was always the joke. I was like, wait, how does it become a he goes or I go and everyone leaves? But that's it. The owner just had it up.
I kind of love the owner for this.
No, that's a gangster. Like, because he cratered the Jazz for a long fucking time.
He's like, well, I'm going to go with option C.
Man, wow. Well, I tell that story to tell this story. We do over-unders at the beginning of the season every year, and for those who aren't degenerate gamblers like your boy, over-unders were basically Vegas sets a line on how many games the team's going to win in the season based on betting trends and projections. You can then bet over, under, or push on these games. There's no pushes here on UD Pod, but Mike and I go head to head. And last year it was, whatever, Mike won. This year I felt good. I felt strong. I felt smart. But out of the 30 teams, I got 17 teams right. Like, if we're putting some money in Vegas, I won some money. Mike got 22. The floor is yours, you asshole.
I'm increasingly enjoying this annual event, I gotta say.
Well, the thing is, eventually we've got to put something on it. Or, you and I, next September, make a trip to Atlantic City. We get drunk. We take $10 each on each team, $300, and we just make this a real thing that happens. And then we record the podcast a little drunk from an Atlantic City hotel room. Bonus points if it's a Trump-owned property.
First of all, that's never happening.
No, I could find a way to get a free room in a Trump-owned property. Come on.
I would rather pay somewhere else.
Fair enough. Okay. No Trumps.
We'll revisit this closer. I hate that this is a good, bad idea.
It's a great idea. We would have made money.
In theory. Although next year I'm going to get like 8 of 30.
I really hope so too, actually. Let's go through these and see some of the notable ones. The Hawks were projected to go 25.5. You and I both said over. They finished at 24 wins. Atlanta. What the fuck, man?
And yet this is the most Atlanta thing. I mean, can we be surprised?
I guess not. I thought they put up, I don't know. I had dreams. For the first time in 10 years, the Hawks are going to miss the playoffs. They got a decent chance of winning some good ping pong balls because of some late season moves. But I got to tell you, as a Hawks fan,
how that goes.
Yeah, I don't feel a whole lot of hope here, man. Like, yeah, it was always kind of, we were like the 1 year we won 60 games with a 1 seed. That was nice. But the rest of the time we were a mid seed. So I guess in today's NBA, you kind of do have to make the decision. Are you going to sit here and try to make a run, or are you going to try to rebuild? And certain places, processes have been working.
Yeah, I mean, what's the point of 10 years of playoffs if it amounts to nothing?
But the thing is, what's nothing? Like, are we really at a place where it's a zero-sum game, title or bust? Not every team can win a title. I think I did some in 2010. By 2010, I think since 1980 to 2010, it was like 7 teams won an NBA title.
True, but isn't that still the metric by how which teams are measured?
I don't think so, because we're not talking about a league that has parity, because parity in basketball, it looks like college basketball, and a 16 beat a 1. And how much fun was that really? So this is a league that is built on stars and built on star power, but you got to have mid-carders too. And I liked kind of our spot as the plucky mid-carder. I don't know.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. It's not going to happen. We got to rebuild.
I don't know what kind of building you're talking about. There's no ring coming to Atlanta via the basketball court anytime soon. Can we agree on that?
Yes.
All right. Something else we should all agree on. Kyrie played everyone, and I'm a little impressed. Because he said to the Cavs, hey, either trade me or I'm going to get this surgery and it's going to end my season. He got what he wanted. He got his own team in Boston. And guess what? His body broke down and he had to have the surgery anyway. They finished. I feel
like he just played Boston. How do you not look at that?
Look, they were projected to go 55.5 wins. They finished at 55. So my over was wrong and your under was right. And that's that bullshit.
Is it?
Well, can we at least agree going over these that the Vegas guys know what they're doing in setting these lines?
Yeah, it's a little creepy.
Well, there's no like massively crazy over-under that we missed that were big misses. I think that the one that I got that you didn't, that it makes perfect sense to me, was the fact that San Antonio was spotted at 54.5. And you and your blind fanhood couldn't bring yourself to be honest about what the Spurs are going to be this year. And the thing is,
I thought I was honest.
You said over.
I knew what. Yeah, but I said, I'm a Spurs fan. Look, I'm doing this. It's happening. I don't care.
You're positing that you admitted it was a logical pick. That's fair. That's 100% fair. Well, so I'm glad that we got the Atlantic City idea at least on the record, so people have listened, and next year they can ask, when are you going to go to Atlantic City? And I can say Mike doesn't want to. So that's really good. I got that leverage hanging over your head now. Let's talk about some of the things that happened this season, and I think some of the best way to do this is to start handing out some awards, a little hardware. Coach of the Year.
Well, I do have one question for you.
Oh, God.
Why didn't you trust the process?
I hate you so much. Look. I'm not a smart man. No one's ever said that. I'm a smart man.
It was a risky prospect, But
look, 41.5 was the line. Last year they won 28 basketball games.
They also were a shadow of themselves.
Well, now they're not a shadow. They won 52 games this year, third best in the East. And let's just start there then, because we've got a debate, I think.
Do we?
There are three candidates now for Rookie of the Year. That old dude in LA who everyone thinks it's a great story, and it kind of is on one level. On another level, he gave every Instagram rapper another 5 years of like, I got to keep on trying this shit. It's going to bust. No. I live in Atlanta. Most people in Atlanta are rappers on the side. Please stop.
Between him and the rec league goalie, people are going to hang around a lot.
We're going to have a whole lot of at least the emergency rooms will be full. That's nice. So I think it really does come down to two candidates, Donovan Mitchell and Ben Simmons. The PR campaign has not been helpful for the boy, Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah. The first sweatshirt, cool. Second sweatshirt, you're doing the same thing. Come on.
When the crux of your argument is he's not a rookie.
Yeah, not that.
I'm better or I deserve it more. No, he is technically not supposed to be able to get this award.
Yeah, you're not going to win on the technicality argument.
People who don't, you're saying, oh, maybe it is Donovan Mitchell. No. Go to your partner, significant other, or someone you trust in your life and start an argument. And then try to explain why technically you're right. You'll lose the argument. I'm sorry. I don't care if you are right. The second you say, well, technically, it's a wrap for you. And guess what? By every metric, Ben Simmons has been great, except for three-pointers because he's got no jumper. And we'll talk about that's going to be a real problem eventually. But right now, feel-good story. It's a little crazy that, if you don't play Embiid last year and then it ends up being Embiid and Simmons for Roy, do they shoot at each other like this?
Yeah. Come on. Have you seen Embiid's social network game?
I just wanted to throw it out
talked about him before he put on the mask.
Oh, my God. Yeah, really? A lot of process, huh? So, okay, do you trust the process? Is this the machinations of Sam Hinkie finally coming to fruition? Or is this literally just like mass hunting for top draft picks? Because they haven't all worked out. Shout out to Nerlens Noel.
I got to give him some credit. I mean, you have to, a little bit.
Why?
But you also have to do it for more than one season for it to really...
It's the thing about the things. Okay, so if I tell you this is going to pay off, and you say when, and I say eventually, that's not a plan. That's buying time for things to pop off. I've been that scammer. Sam Hinkie is that scammer. This wasn't a mastermind plan.
It's mostly a scam if it never comes to fruition.
But it only comes. Oh, see, and that's the scam. That's the scam.
And that's why it works.
Tomorrow's a relative term. Annie's a lot sadder. It's never going to come. Annie gets sadder when you think about it that way. So, yeah, man, I don't know. I just don't think that.
Look, we got to see how they do in the playoffs, and then we got to see.
Go ahead.
I mean, next season is, one season anyone can manage a good season. That's fine. But if they keep doing it, all right.
I think the fact that Ben Simmons can't shoot a jumper is going to be a problem eventually. But right now.
Yeah, but he can improve. All right.
Oh, no, I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying, it is hard to develop a jump shot at this late stage in the game. I think that's fair.
He'll be fine. He's young.
That's how I know you're getting old, because he's young. He'll figure it out, the young buck. So, UD Pod pick for Roy. Are we both going Ben Simmons here?
Oh, yeah. No question.
There you go. That's a slam dunk. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Donovan Mitchell. But, hey, you're on a very scary team in the playoffs we're going to talk about later. Next up, Coach of the Year. Every year you can give this award to Pop. Let's just say that first and foremost. Are we giving it to D'Antoni? Do we have to?
Ooh, see, this is like a three-way race for me. Between D'Antoni, it's between Casey and Toronto, and maybe you give Philly's coach a little outside shot on this.
Okay, so I'm going to do my retorts to your claims. Dwayne Casey coaches a team that's allergic to winning in the playoffs.
But this is the best they've been in the Lowry DeRozan era. By far.
And it's we'll talk about this when we get to the breakdown, but fine. If you want to have the conversation, let's have the conversation. I say that Pop should be on the short list because he did this again without Kawhi.
You know how I feel about Pop, but it's not going to happen.
Okay.
I'm not saying I don't think it should, but I don't think it will.
I think D'Antoni's the runaway, though. I honestly think that you've got to acknowledge something that's happened that's crazy and insane in Houston, and an offensive efficiency the like of which we've never, ever seen, and didn't think we'd ever see. It's not just like, oh, it's happened, it's never happened before. We didn't know it was possible.
That's fair. I don't know. I've seen a lot more about other coaches getting it than D'Antoni. Not that I don't think he deserves it.
And that's fair too. And let's talk about the big one, MVP. Who's your MVP, Mike?
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's going to go to Harden.
That's not what I asked.
King. LeBron. Look, he's done a lot of heavy lifting. This is year 15.
True.
He's been in the finals for the past 7 years.
We're doing this
with,
again.
Different teams
I just watched that
every
game
year.
I just watched that game.
Yeah, that game is owned.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so
and he's playing better than ever.
I think that's.
I feel like he's so consistently good that he just doesn't get the love he should in the MVP race. And like, there definitely been some years where people are doing things where it's like, all right, you deserve it. But yeah,
James Harden's going to win the MVP. I think we can both agree on that. He's going to win the MVP the same way Derrick Rose won the MVP and the same way Karl Malone won an MVP because people were tired of voting for the obvious answer. Last year, and the thing is, for the last 8 years, if you go through the non-LeBron MVPs, I can make a case for him. Russell Westbrook, triple-double last year and doing it again this year, which is insane.
Yeah, crazy.
And doing it with having to spread the ball around, like, I guess it'd almost be easier now. I don't know. The fact that he pulled it off, it blows my mind. But triple-double, that was amazing, had to be done. The year before that, Steph breaking the record with threes had to be done. I can make cases. James Harden did nothing historic this year. I pulled this off.
Yeah, I mean, this partially, testament to our team this year, him not getting it last year, even though it's really close, and like him kind of deserving something.
Okay, so I pulled this graphic off of Colin Cowherd's site, and while I think he's a race-baiting coward, the fact that he agrees with me on this one makes me a little uneasy. Who had more triple-doubles, LeBron James or James Harden?
LeBron.
18-4. Who played more games this year? James Harden, LeBron. 82.
LeBron.
82-71.
Yeah. And this is like the most in the past few years too, right?
It's his most. He's never played 82. This is year 15. We've been invaded by aliens, and their king is LeBron. Who had a better three-point percentage?
I'm curious what the differential is, but I'm guessing LeBron.
36.9 to 36.6. Who was better from the field overall?
LeBron. He's super efficient.
54.3 to 45. Who had more assists?
LeBron.
745 to 620. Who had more rebounds?
We know the answer to this.
704 to 385.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Congratulations to 2018 MVP, James Harden. The asterisks for not LeBron division will be affixed at a later date.
See, now, this is a sweatshirt campaign I could get behind.
Yo, if he had a sweatshirt that said MVP, non-LeBron division, I'd be really happy about it.
Right.
Like, I think you just, have fun with it, because
like Nike, just go ahead and churn one of those out.
Mike, it's year 15. I can't stress that enough. No players ever led their team in assists and points for more than 10 straight years. LeBron's done it for, you guessed it, 15. People like to hate on LeBron for lots of reasons. Most of them nonsensical.
I don't know why.
I would advise every listener, enjoy the greatness while you've got it. Because we're watching a 30 for 30. We watched one with the Cavs Warriors trilogy. And I like the fact that they're kind of playing with their expectations. We're getting the 4th edition this year. And with that, let's head to the breakdown of the NBA playoffs. We're going to start in the West, because I think it might be a little less interesting than it seems. Houston Rockets are going against the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Timberwolves got in on the providence of winning the last game of the season over the Nuggets, and they get the reward of getting run out of the building in 4 games.
Just delayed their vacation a week.
I know Jimmy Butler's back, and Tom Thibodeau. People will say Tom Thibodeau's roster gets to the playoffs better because they're used to playing short rotations. That also means they're all exhausted.
Yeah. Plus,
Tom Thibodeau's never met a player he couldn't run to the ground, and you might want fresh legs trying to keep up with the Rockets. Just saying. So next up, in the West, the Warriors and the Spurs. Well, let's also be honest about this. Rockets, we saw what happened last year. So this whole first round love for you, just relax. Warriors, Spurs, Warriors are going to play without Steph. Spurs are going to play without Kawhi, as they have all year, though. Without Steph, the Warriors have looked not mediocre, but not great. They lost to by
Still got
4.
3 All-Stars.
They still, well, I guess technically they had 3 All-Stars. Yes, the Hawks had 5 that year, and that didn't really matter. Now did it? How do you see this series ending up? Because I could see the Warriors, I could see the Spurs stealing one, at least one in San Antonio.
Yeah, I feel like Pop's got to steal one, but they're gonna lose.
It's Warriors in 5 there. Not a bad look.
Yeah.
The Portland Trailblazers, Dame Lillard, really kind of pushing this team to a new height. I thought we'd seen the best of Damian Lillard in Portland. I thought maybe it was time for him to decide to try to look for greener pastures, but he proved me wrong. He pushed this team higher than I thought it could be, and I'll have the argument that that's the best backcourt in the league, him and CJ McCollum.
Yeah, it's a pretty good duo, I got to say. And I was surprised by how well he's been playing.
It's a great 3 seed. It's a great matchup. And then you just got basically the MVP in waiting playing on the Pelicans. Like when I say people got sick of giving LeBron them, they're going to get sick of giving them Anthony Davis. I know we talk about this new young crop of centers and big men, your Embiids, but he's the mold. He's the prototype. They're all like, oh, we got to be Anthony Davis-like. All those kids grew up saying, I want to be like the unibrow. Because what I watched him do after DeMarcus Cousins went down is fucking terrifying.
Yeah. He's been playing out of his mind, but he's also
the stat lines coming out of New Orleans are just they're eye-popping. And as much as I don't think that the Blazers have the bodies to really handle him, I also don't think that anyone in the league does. I do think that the backcourt of Portland's too much. I think this goes 6, and I think I'm watching every game. Shame on you, NBA, for putting this on NBA TV for the 3rd game.
Oh, it is. Man.
The first game is Saturday at 10:30 on ESPN. Guess what your boy's going to be very tired on Sunday? Because I am staying up for that. Holy shit. As soon as it's going out, Saturday, I should go out with a friend for a friend's birthday thing. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll go out for a bit. Nope, I won't be going out. I'll be on my couch tweeting about NBA basketball. It's fantastic. Last series in the West, the Oklahoma City Thunder taking on the Utah Jazz. Jazz, they got the defensive player of the year, Rudy Gobert.
They won 17 of their last 21, so they got some momentum.
They got a lot of momentum. They got Donovan Mitchell, who, I mean, we just kind of ran him down, but being second to Ben Simmons in Roy voting isn't a bad place to be.
No, not at all.
But
I think this is going to be an interesting series. I don't know.
Okay, see, I don't.
Really?
And only because, and you and I have lived long enough and seen enough of these playoff axioms to kind of become truisms, you need the experience. I think they're combined 8 minutes on the 8 games on the Jazz side. I'm serious. They have like eight games of experience. I know. Paul George has been to Eastern Conference Finals. He's got his ass kicked by LeBron, but he's been there. Rusty's been to a finals. Rusty's
what about Melo?
Melo there? What the fuck? Like, anyway.
Sorry.
That was rude. I was going to leave Melo out of this. I was just deference to what he was. That was just mean. I do think that Melo's kind of forced inclusion in the offense has gummed this team up all year. I hope that they can find a way to kind of feature him more in the second unit, man. I think he'd be a second unit killer. I think you put him at the 4 at the seconds and just punish these guys who can't keep up with him. Play inside outside, but
like D-Wade?
Yeah, well, D-Wade's basically a 4 now. He doesn't jump anyway. But I mean, between Russell Westbrook and oh my God, I just blanked on Paul George. Sorry, I blanked on him like he blanks in the fourth quarter of games. Anyway, how dare you put out that Gatorade commercial? You hitting a game-winning shot when BasketballReference.com has you at 0, 0, sir, 0. I'm still mad about that. Anyway, I think the experience is too much. I think that the Jazz may steal 1, but Rudy Gobert is a great defender. They're a great defensive team. Russell Westbrook is a force of nature when it comes to playoff basketball. Give me Thunder in 5.
All right, I can see that.
All right.
I kind of want Jazz to sneak in too, but
Look, deny Russ if you must. And that's the other thing I want to talk about here. I think it's great that you and I just sat here and had real conversations about at least 2 of these series, and we wouldn't paint. I like it when the teams I know are good are expected to do well. So let's go to the second round in the West. The Rockets will be taking on presumably the Thunder. And Thunder don't have enough guns. I'm sorry.
yeah. Just thinking about the matchups, yeah, that's going to be.
Well, you're going to get one Russ game, at least 1 or 2 Russ games where he just does everything. And let's
What
figure
about
that.
PG?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You figure they split the Russ games because someone's going to offset. We can't pretend like the Rockets aren't going to play either. So if you split the Russ
True,
games,
but
I think Paul will get you a game. I think the Thunder can take 2 off the Rockets. If it's too early, then things get crazy. You can ask some questions. It depends on when the 2 happen. I think 2 come off. I don't know when. So I'd say either 6 or 7.
if they get 2 of the first 3.
If they get 2 of the first 3, it's a real problem.
Yeah.
Because we've seen this Rockets team kind of melt, and adding Chris Paul, never been out of the second round, Chris Paul doesn't exactly inspire confidence.
And it's going to be a good series. So.
It's going to be a great playoffs. Second round would also include the Warriors taking on the Portland Trailblazers and presumably the return of Stephen Curry. If Steph's back, it's over in 5.
Is he back at the beginning of the series?
If he comes back at all, it's over in 5.
Yeah. All right.
I figure the Warriors will hold home court no matter what. And if he comes back in game 3 and is slow, then the Trailblazers steal 1. And then they finish him in 5.
I don't know. I got to give game 1. He's going to go off. He has to.
That's 100% fair. I think that the Warriors have been worse defensively this year than, especially down the stretch without Steph. I don't know what's happened, if it's just in their heads or whatnot, but they need to really refocus in that place. And maybe you're right. Maybe the 1-2 punch is too good. And I'm also, the more I watch him without Steph, the less I like Klay Thompson. I like his length defensively, but he looks a little lost. He's better as a third or fourth option, not as kind of the guy that KD has to play off of.
Well, yeah, that's been his game.
Yeah, and just I don't know. Maybe the CJ McCollum Klay Thompson matchup scares me. I don't know. We'll deal with the conference finals when we finish up with the East. Let's go to the East next. Starting out with the 1 seed, Toronto Raptors, Washington Wizards. Wizards hobbled by an injured John Wall for much of the season. I don't see this being much of a series. I know the Wizards have fight. I know they don't like the Raptors, but I don't see this going more than 5. And I'm surprised it's not an NBA TV special.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's going to be a wrap.
They got 2 national ESPN games and 1 national TNT game. Yeah, I'm sorry. Wizards, between the acrimony on the sidelines and an injured John Wall, I just don't see it happening for them this year. Celtics Bucks gets real interesting because of no Kyrie. Real interesting. Upset the playoffs interesting.
Yeah. I kind of want to see that happen. I've
got Bucks in 6.
Really?
I've got Bucks in 6. I got them winning in Milwaukee on the 26th to close it out.
Ooh.
I need Giannis in the second round. You taking 7? Who are you taking in the 7th? Are you going Boston holds court at home?
No, I'm gonna go Bucks. I need this to be Giannis.
You're taking the Bucks winning. Oh, that's coming out. Game 7 on the road in Boston. You see in a series like that, that's a definitive coming out party. You're right. That's now
gotta happen sometime.
7. I kind of wanted to go 7 now. The Boston's gonna fight, and while I'm not part of the cult of Brad Stevens, he's a good coach. I don't see how
who's going to get it done for them?
Yeah, coaching is great, but Giannis is a hurricane. He's a one-person hurricane.
Right.
And he's coming to you, Boston. I'm sorry. He makes landfall. That first game is going to be Sunday at 1 p.m. Oh, it's going to be a lazy Sunday in the Palmer House.
Is that on ABC?
It is on TNT.
Ooh, okay. All right.
All right. So, appointment television here. Sixers and Heat next up. The Heat are getting 2. This is going 6. I got the Sixers winning in Miami at the end of it, but the Heat are going to get 2 just because the Dwayne Wade of it all.
Really? 2018 Dwayne Wade gets you 2?
Experience getting calls Dwayne Wade does, particularly in Miami.
Yeah. I'm going to go 5.
Okay, so Game 4 is at 2:30 in the afternoon on Saturday the 21st, which tells me the Sixers are going to have a night off in Miami beforehand. Game 4 is a wrap.
Fair point.
I just want to make sure. Schedules matter, man. Not in the playoffs. The hell, not in the playoffs. Here's a team that won't be getting in trouble at night. Cleveland's matching up with the Pacers. Boring nightlife all around. Give me the Cavs in 5. I'm sorry. I don't believe in these Pacers. I don't.
Has LeBron gone 0 dark 23 yet?
And honestly, like so the other podcast we're doing at some point is whenever LeBron goes full LeBron, I just have Chad on and we just talk about LeBron James for an hour. And it's LeBronica. It's LeBronica. It happens every year, and it's the greatest season that I can enjoy as a man because I get to watch someone who people take for granted prove why they shouldn't take it for granted, and then they move the bar to take it for granted again. It's ridiculous and it happens every year, and I'm here for it. I think that with the cast around him, with Kevin Love, if Kevin Love can play that 4 position in a way that can stretch the Pacers defense, we're good. I say Cavs are good.
I need LeBron to keep these series short so he can rest.
I don't think he needs rest. Like, that's the crazy shit. Like, he played 82. He played his most minutes ever, and I think he's just getting started.
I agree, but yeah, this is going to be sweep.
Oh, sweet. All right. Well, while we're here talking about the Cavs, I want to talk about an aspect of the team that's a little throwback to the 90s, Mike. Tristan Thompson. Tristan Thompson, he led the league in offensive rebounding 2 years ago. He loves to bash the boards. He's a physical player, establishes a presence, kind of a throwback to the 90s. Also, in the 90s, there wasn't social media and cell phone cameras everywhere. What are you doing, Tristan? Yes,
I really didn't know we were going to talk about this, but
well, hell, I
not
had
a smart person.
No, he's not a smart person. Motherfucker, you are 7 feet tall. What? Like, I always joke, like, that's the joke. He's a throwback player. This is a throwback decision. This is something Michael Jordan did in 92, and no one reported it because they loved Michael Jordan. I don't know if that actually happened.
Yeah, but I feel like people
still
do it these days and get away with it because they're not stupid. Or
this is some Tiger Woods level stupidity. Like, when she was calling his house, like, this is the calling his house of the situation. Like,
part of this happened in DC too.
They didn't announce his name when he subbed in game 82. They booed him when he was announced in the introductions. like
how long do you think the booing is going to last?
I swear to God, if LeBron James's run is interrupted by Tristan Thompson's dick, yeah,
he's going to get traded. LeBron's not going to.
LeBron will. They had the same agent who was LeBron's best friend. He will have him fired during the series.
Yeah.
Which I actually kind of am here for because that'd be messy as shit. And the NBA
it can't get messier than it already is. Right?
Don't you challenge Tristan Thompson. He clearly has no regard for his own life. Second round, Raptors, Cavs. Explain to me why it's different.
Raptors are playing better?
Give me a better reason than that.
Drake?
Look, guys, I'm sorry. I know there's going to be people listening who say this is the year Dwayne Casey get Coach of the Year. This is the best that the Raptors have ever been playing. I don't give a shit. They're bad at basketball when it comes to the playoffs. LeBron James literally has their number. Like, I know we all kind of overstate the emotional and mental aspect of sports sometimes. He has condominium space in their heads. He's building a villa. A whole villa, man.
How many games do you give him?
They'll take one in the North. No, you know what? Fuck it. They'll take 2. Give them 6. Cavs in 6.
All right. I mean, they're not going to win this, but it's definitely not going to go to 7.
This is not going to 7. Dear God, no. For who? For what?
LeBron's going to pull some Paul Pierce, like, we don't want to go through customs again.
Oh, and he's going to mean that shit. Oh my God. Yo, by the way, that's also the quietest, best part of LeBron is that he goes from like family man, nice guy in the regular season to just a fucking assassin in the playoffs. Remember what he did to Gilbert Arenas that time? You're going to miss this free throw, and we're going to win the game. And he went back.
And he patted him on the chest like,
dog. Yo, people are like, oh, LeBron's too nice. LeBron's an asshole. He just doesn't use it all the time. When he turns it on and goes full LeBron, like, oh, I hope, yo, LeBron, if you're listening to this, I need you to cover that Paul Pierce thing. Like, just do an homage, if you will. Just say I'm on my Paul Pierce. You trying to go next round? I'm on my Paul Pierce, and make them think about it. Even better. Next round is why I think that things are going to get spicy in the East, because the way we have it set up, Philly would play host to Milwaukee.
You think that's going to get spicy?
I think these young bucks want to prove who's next.
Like, I think it's going to be a little sloppy.
It's going to be very sloppy, but I think that the big personalities on both sides are going to really stand out. I think that Giannis, I think that Giannis going against Embiid and going against Simmons for 7 games, which is this one would take, I am 1,000% here for it. And I'm taking Giannis.
You know the Sixers beat them 130-95 the other day, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Look, the playoffs are different. The Sixers have never been here. They have literally no experience. Giannis went toe-to-toe with LeBron last year.
Fine, toe-to-toe.
He was in LeBron's way, fine. But he did it like they went to the playoffs. Like, I think that playoff minutes matter, and maybe I'm being like kind of an old person and overvaluing them, but the first time you very rarely – okay, here, your counterpoint. J.J. Redick is the steadying force, the veteran voice of the locker room of the Sixers.
I'm okay with that.
All right. So you're taking the Sixers on
this. He's our age. He's been in the league for a minute, or he's a little bit older. But
I'm glad you just called us old, first of all, because we both know people who knew him in college. So yeah, who do you got?
I think it goes the distance.
Take Philly. Just take him. You know you want to.
Nah, I gotta go Giannis.
See, okay, so now we get to the conference finals in both sides. On the one side, Rockets, Warriors. On the other side, for the soul of the East, Cavs, Bucks.
Look, that's not even.
They're both going 7 in my book.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just
not
kidding.
My book.
Cavs in 5. No, it's Cavs in 5. I'm just kidding. I think Rockets, Warriors go 7. And I think that depends on when stuff comes back. If he comes back midway through round 2 and has time to work himself into shape, I think it could be over in 6. But I think it's all preamble because we're getting Warriors, Cavs 4.
You're that confident in it?
I really am. This is at a certain point, the movie ends with a giant chase scene. This is like Fast and the Furious at this point. Like, we'll see how many obstacles get thrown. Oh shit! Now they're on the ice. Oh god! Now he's gonna play the Cat and the Bucks. Oh, they gotta play the Rockets, but it ends with a giant chase. And that's not a complaint because guess what? When Fast and Furious drops, I go see it.
I mean, it doesn't make it a bad,
Yeah, look, this is the best finals we could hope for. What do you think? Are you saying this is the year the Warriors fall off?
I think this is the best shot of the Warriors not making it.
That's a very fair statement. That's a very fair statement. And again, all this is barring injury because we've seen the crazy shit that happened in the West 2 years ago and last year.
That's true.
I don't know, man. Who do you have? Who going into the playoffs? Don't forget about everything we just talked about. Who is your team that you think wins the ring?
I mean, my heart says LeBron.
Look, if only because it's such an easier path in the East. And these West teams are going to beat the shit out of each other. I think this is an opportunity for LeBron to balance his ledger with the Warriors. People are going to call us fanboys and filmers. That's fine. But you don't do that well in life betting against LeBron James. Ask every Eastern Conference team for the last 8 years. Game of zones indeed. Now, this is my 7th podcast in the last 5 days.
That's it.
So, how dare you? I'm going to not speak to anyone for the next 2 days. I'm pretty excited about it. And, Mike, I want to say thank you again for coming on and breaking down little playoffs with me. I'm excited to talk playoffs. I'm excited to be at the playoffs. I'm excited that not excited that I lost, but I love the playoffs. It's the best time of year. Basketball's on every night. It's high level basketball. Everyone quote the kid. They don't care. Oh, these motherfuckers are going to care. And it's storylines for days. What's the thing you're looking forward most to in these playoffs? Is it going to be the emergence of the Sixers or the continued greatness of LeBron or something out west?
I want to see some of these young players, kind of prove themselves on the bigger stage. I want to see Giannis do his thing. I want to see playoff Embiid, his Instagram game. I think that's going to be great. I think it's just going to be interesting for, kind of what to look forward to in the next few years. Their teams are obviously not going to make it to the finals, but I think it'll have some good implications on what we're going to see in the future of the league.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think that watching a lot of this youth get the shot is kind of like the who's next of it all. Who's gonna step up once LeBron decides that he's done beating us all in basketball for 15 years? Year 15, that shit's crazy. But that's it, guys. That is your NBA playoff preview. Again, thanks to our guest Mike. Follow me on Twitter at dpalm66. Follow the show on Twitter at udpod. Make sure you go to Stitcher.com right now. Sign up for premium. Get a free month using our code Tuesday. Listen to Marvel's 10-episode Wolverine, a long night podcast, as well as ad-free listening to all Stitcher shows, bonus episodes from Stitcher hit shows, comedy albums, and other Stitcher original programming. Go to Stitcher.com/premium and put in the code Tuesday. That was your show. This is your outro. Happy playoffs, everyone.